Have a crucial matter before us this evening that we tend to look at. It's a crucial matter. I was talking to someone today. I said, even if you don't desire to marry, I said the reason you should take some certain program serious, even if you desire not to marry, don't you believe there are people that will bring? How many of you know Reverend Sisters? You know Reverend Sisters? You know that they do counsel people. How many of you know Reverend Fathers? They do counsel people. Reverend Father counsel married people. Huh? It is not a debate. And many of them, there are many of them that are good counselor. Somebody may say, but they are not married. How will they know? But they have been counseling many, and many who have taken their counsel has been helped. In other words, they may not have been married, but they have information, they have knowledge. They have learned how to and what those people that have such issue come to them need. So I was telling the person, I said, this is the reason why you should take certain program serious. And also, I also discover in this part of our world that most times we don't appreciate what we are giving for free. That is what we need. We don't, especially once it's for free. And also in this part of our world, why we're also lacking in so many things in our development, both in human development and other things, is that we love what they call fire brigade issue approach. I was discussing of one small boy, a Brazilian. That boy shouldn't be up to 10. He's not up to 10 now, except it now. The boy, I will see him, that thing started with his father. They will place a bucket. If you have seen a little bucket that looks like that of dustbin, this little, they will place a circle that looks like that, a distance from that guy, that small boy. And what is that boy assignment? To be kicking ball from some kilometers and targeting that circle. And the boy has so mastered it that the world, he has gone worldwide. The way he trapples the ball, the way he plays with ball, the way he controls ball at his age. And I told someone, I said, when you see Africans, some people of my age is still going to feed every morning, carrying bag, trying to jog, you want to be a footballer. Why some people started learning to play football at the age of 5, 3. And imagine that boy becomes 16. For those of you who just concluded the Europe competition, you see the one they call Jama. They say is he 16 or 17? And there was another young boy. You see how that young, or those, they are teens now, you see how those things we are destabilizing and disgracing the people that are up to the age of their father. It is not a magic, it is not a charm. It is because they started the learning early. Many do not see the reason to learn about marriage before they enter, and many do not even see the reason to keep learning and improving a marriage even when they have entered. I used to have a neighbor some years ago when I keep begging them to attend this program that it will help them when they are about cutting. Then when they wedded, one day she said to me, what do I need a marriage program again? After all, I am married. I didn't respond because I know she's ignorant. And few months after, she will be running to me when the heat and the responsibility and the challenge of marriage was coming up. She will be running to me to ask some questions. I said, I won't respond to you because these are some of the things I teach for free. I thought you said now that you are married, you don't need marriage counseling, you don't need marriage program. So for you that are seated, for you that are listening to me, I want you to pay attention. If your marriage has not gotten to the level you will need what I'm saying, store it in your heart. It will come there. If a marriage has that point, listen to me carefully. What I'm going to say by the Spirit of God will help you to revive and resuscitate that relationship that at the point of dying. Some years ago, I was listening to, I think my wife was also there. I was listening to a message by Bishop T.D. Jakes, and he said to parents, he said, if you think you don't need this message, you need it, get it for someone. If you think you don't understand what I'm saying, get it, because you will get there. There are some certain things that you must encounter, except you don't want to grow, except you don't want to be successful. Just like there's somebody who I don't want anybody to talk about me, I don't want anybody to criticize me, that means you don't want to grow, you don't want to be successful. Because there is no way you'll be successful that they won't talk about you. Are you hearing me? Those of us who grew up in the village or in the area where the way we get to our school, there are fruits or mango trees. You know that we keep, how do we do it? Whenever we are going, once you discover one that has a ripe fruit, you must, except you didn't go as a child, you must stop to throw two things in order to see. What attracts you is the fruit that is there. This evening, we want to look at marriage resuscitation. Everything that dies do not just die. Everything that dies. Is there any man that died that you will not see in the obituary? Brief illness. Brief illness. If you don't see brief illness, so if you get close to the family, they will tell you that actually our mother, our brother have been sick for quite a number of years, that we have been just trusting God, thinking that he will survive. But along the line, he didn't make it. Have you seen anybody that died or go to hospital and died and they did not look for one thing or the other? Something, in medical, you must hear that something killed that person. If there is nothing, they will attribute it to illness. They will attribute it to sickness. So naturally, I want to say this. There is nothing that dies. There is no marriage that dies without a cause. And most marriage that dies today as a result of certain negligence. Certain negligence. Because I do not see the reason why husband and wife, as a youth, as a young girl, as a young boy, out of all the thousands of millions of young girls, out of the thousands of millions of young men that you saw, you choose to stay with that one. You say, you are my apple, you are my all in all. Without you, I will not live. And the marriage was blessed, the marriage was fruitful, and they were so excited about each other. And suddenly, few months, few years after, and you discover, you'll be hearing something like, I regret ever marrying you. I hate you. What we once profess, the person you once professed love to, you are now using the word, I hate you. And before you ask so many of them what is responsible, most time you will not hear anything so tangible that they will tell you. You will not be able to lay your hand on anything. So, and before you know it, the marriage begins to die. Each time you see someone collapse, it fainted, collapse, whether in a bus stop, whether in a company, wherever, that is what they call resuscitations. Resuscitations. They call it CPR. That must be conducted to that person. What is the sense? They are conducting to add breath, give a supporting breath into that person in order for that person to come back to life. As long as the person is not dead, it's just that he collapsed. It's just that he's in coma. He may be gasping, struggling with air. But as long as there is a sign of life in that person, you must resuscitate that person. And there are processes of resuscitating. But that is not what I am not coming on the angle of medical, because that is not what I want to deal with tonight. I am coming on the angle of resuscitating your marriage. I have I have a question on my table. Will I call it a question or a counselee? But that counselee did not come direct to me. It's coming to me through someone else that it can open up. Then what do? I now ask the person the question, chat the person the question and the necessary thing to ask the person. And what was the issue? He said, when I married my husband, we were living wonderfully. My husband does this. My husband does that. My husband don't play with me. But suddenly, after 7 years, something happened. Now, you hearing, I hate you. You hearing, I don't want to see you. Each time he comes into the house, he is not happy. Now, he's not asking. He don't know. According to Jesus, something went wrong. But what is that went wrong? It is still what we are trying to derive. It's still what we are trying to look for. If your marriage is suffering, if your marriage is not what it used to be and what it ought to be, there are certain factors that are responsible. And this evening, for you to revive that marriage, we will take you through some few steps. Listen to this. Marriage is a special relationship that needs regular care to stay strong. Over time, marriage can face problems that make partners feel distant or stuck. Marriage is a special relationship. It needs regular care. But most time, many of us are ignorant of this. That is what the street boys, there's a street language they call see finish. How many of you have heard it? See finish. Do you know that see finish is common in marriage? You see a guy who every night, every day, if he doesn't hear from you, in fact, he can't sleep. But he will rather, for those of you women that have a very stubborn or soldier father or soldier uncle, you will still see that boy, that young man, taking some certain risk just to make sure he sees your face for that day. It doesn't allow you to breathe because he wants to marry you. He said you are all and all. And suddenly, that young man, today, they pronounce you husband and wife. He shout, finally, I've won the jackpot. Only for a few days after, a few months after, a few years after, you begin to see some certain things. The comedian call it see finish. And what is responsible to some of those things is because many of us do not know that marriage as a relationship requires intentional care. Intentional care. But we just waive it. Intentional care. It is very, very important. Marriage resuscitation means actively working to refresh and improve a marriage to make it lively and close again. Did you hear that? I'll take it again. Marriage resuscitation means actively working to refresh and improve your marriage to make it lively and close again. This involves solving problems, rekindling emotional bond, and working together to grow. What does it mean? Actively. You must do everything that is within your power to actively, to constantly refresh your marriage, to constantly improve your marriage in order for the marriage to be lively again. Marriage should be lively at all time. Marriage should be lively at all time. Is somebody hearing me? Marriage should be lively at all time. I am one of those who keep saying, but most time, people who have a critical mind will misunderstand it. I am one of those who say, if there is anything like life again, if there is anything, the world after now, and if it's possible to marry, which I know there is not according to the Bible, the only thing we are going to is heaven, I will tend to do what? To marry the same woman. Is it because she's an angel? No. Is it because she's perfect? No. Is it because she has no flaw? No. Is it because I'm the perfect man? No. But I discover that the way we are growing, how we are coupling, how we are understanding and learning each other day in, day out is helping us and giving our marriage, making our marriage lively. So that is very, very important. Just like doctors will revive someone's health with resuscitation, marriage resuscitation helps to bring relationship back to life by focusing on this point. What is the duty? What have we come this night to do? We have come to look at the things, how you need to improve your marriage. What you need to do. Number one, improve your communication. I don't think there is any aspect of marriage that you will discuss without talking about communication. If you can cast your mind back, what brought you together, even before you became friends and finally became husband and wife. If you can cast your mind back, if we borrow leave from some of the things we see in our Nollywood movies, you will see a young guy going, looking for, okay, you see a lady stranded on the way. Before you know it, you see one Prince Charming passing by. He may look so tata, but handsome. And suddenly, you say, any problem? He say, my car just broke down. I don't know what. Before you know it, blah, 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 blah. You touch one or two things. He say, start it. And he start. Say, wow, how did you do it? Before you know it, can I take you out for a drink? Do you mind if I have your number so I can chat you? Before you know it, tomorrow, they become husband and wife. How did this start? It started by, what is the problem? It started by, what is a beautiful lady doing in the sun like this? It started by, sir, it's all well with you. Everything about marriage starts and triggers and survive when there are improved communications. Learn to discuss, learn to talk, learn to be plain. When there are problems, when there are issues, when there are things that are bothering you, when there are things you don't understand. Someone said, my husband used to help me before with the house jobs because I'm a career person and my husband is also a career person. And each time, by the time we go and come back, there's so many things. And I am so tired. Most time, my husband will help me. But suddenly, my husband is no more helping me. The same person feels safe to share the problem, what they call problem, with his friends. The same person feels safe to, can I use the word gossip, to gossip about the same issue with other people. But if you ask him, have you engaged your husband in a discussion to tell him, honey, this is what I observed, this is what I observed, he will now tell you, no. How will you be able? How many of you have gone to hospital where you enter and they tell you, say, doctor, I'm having headache. I am having headache since 3 days now, and I'm having pain, this and that, and the doctor will just tell you, oh, yeah, lie down. You now bring, just draw out injection and choke you the first day. He said, come back, this injection will last for 7 days. And every day they are choking you. You don't know what they are choking you for 7 days. How many of you have had that experience? It's no experience. If you get to see any doctor with a complaint, a qualified doctor, if they give you any injections or any tablet, what they give you is to control the complaint you bring. The next thing they do is they will do a diagnosis. They will run some tests. Because even medically, that's why during the advert of paracetamol or this analgesic, you will hear, if the symptom continue after 3 days, go and do what? See your doctor. Because there is, can I use the word? Pain is a dictator. When there are some certain problems, things in your body that is not functioning well, it signals your head, and your head begins to react. But most time you concentrate on taking paracetamol. Even when we take paracetamol 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and the headache The problem is not that. There is something that is causing it. So now, how do you know what is responsible for the sudden change, as you may call it, in the attitude of your husband? How did you know, or how will you know what is responsible in the sudden change of the attitude of your wife when you don't engage him or her in communication? Talk about it openly and be honest. And regularly check in with each other to discuss your feelings and your concerns. There are many times some couples, you may be going out running late for work, and some issues will happen between you and your partner. You're offended. One person is offended, but because the time is running late, they will just go their different way. One of them may be feeling bad, may be feeling hot throughout the day, even while at work. When you come back, or most times, what is important, if you have chance in your office, what do? Pick a phone, put a call across to your wife, across to your husband, and do what? Tell him, honey, I didn't like what you said to me in the morning. Then, if he does not respond well, what next do you do? Let the matter be pending until you come back home. And when you come back home, you look at a very conducive time, conducive atmosphere to discuss about it. But rather, many will bottle it all in their life. We bottle it all. I don't like what my husband is doing. But not for once has he told the husband, what you are doing, I don't like it. There's a sudden change in my wife. Not for once has he approached the wife to say, I noticed there's a change in you. That is one of the things that is killing marriage. If you don't improve in your communication, that marriage will die. For every marriage that is dying or is at the verge of collapse, something is wrong. The first step, do a communication test. Discuss. Share your feelings. Open up, and you will find out. Listening carefully and don't interrupt each other. When there is issue in your house between you and your partner, when the other person is talking, please listen. Men are more guilt, or rather, men are guilty in this issue. Most times, so many men don't know that you need patience to listen to women. Those things you call nonsense is not nonsense to them. All you need, listen. The information they want to pass across may be at the last line of the 24 pages of the book they are writing to you. Maybe at the last line. But what do you need? Just pay attention. Is that how? Just be affirming until you are able, because if you interrupt them, you will kill their mood and you may not get the reason for that. So it is important for us to do what? Improving our communication. Number 2, how to revive, how to restore your marriage. You see, it's not only in Nigeria. The world is facing challenges. The world is facing trouble. Manage your financial stress. The world is facing so much trouble, not only Nigeria. The only thing that makes Nigeria own to look peculiar is because of we have bad governance. The world economically, there is nowhere that is easy. But even in the midst of that challenging time, you still see couples who are having a wonderful time, wonderful marriage, homes who are having wonderful time. How? Because they have learned to tackle some of the killers of marriage. Which one of them is finance? Manage your finance well. Manage your finance well. During our church service, I was discussing with a brother who sat me down and was telling me the challenges, was saying so many things, all of them boils out to finance. And after saying, he now said something that got at me. He said, this is what I'm planning. This is what I'm planning for my children. This is what I'm planning for this particular child of mine. Making way, I'm planning for him to do this in order to be working, be getting money, and there will be a little bit of relief on my side as a result of the other ones that are in university. But I am so shocked to know that while I'm discussing what will be good for my daughter and to relieve burden from me, I am so shocked that my wife and my daughter is making a different plan behind my back that will create more problem for me. Have you imagined why some men will just commit suicide? Have you imagined why some women will just commit suicide? You will see somebody come before a bridge and jump into that place. And most of the time, the people that commit this suicide are not just poor men. How many poor men have you seen that commit suicide? How many poor men have you seen? Have you seen any poor man? He said commit suicide. Most of the people that we see that commit this suicide they are now you begin to ask, what is his problem? I don't think when they say somebody is a CEO of a thriving and a striving organization, do you think that that man lacks money to eat 3 times a day? But do you know one thing you don't know? Most of them, there are internal issues that they are dealing with that they don't have somebody to share with. Or most times, that those that they're supposed to share with are not open enough and available enough to offer them the best solution. Most of them, if they tell you what I think there was, is it Farida? There was this woman that her wedding broke the internet. Few months or 3 months after, that was delivered from suicide during the, I think, Third Mainland Bridge. When they begin to interview her, money wasn't her problem, but she began to aid what she was going through in her marriage. In the marriage that other people are outside watching and saying, if I can marry a man like this. Why? Because what you see is the outwardness of that man, is the money the man is praying, is the car, is the material things. But you don't know that there are things that are going on. So for those of you who want now, many marriages are going through challenges. And one of the things that a devil is using to bring problem to kill our marriages are financial issues. There are things that you need to cut down. This is the time to adjust. Somebody said, Charles Okafor, the famous Nollywood actor, he said this is time for somebody to audit his lifestyle. Audit. You have to audit your lifestyle. You understand that? So if you want to survive and you want your marriage to survive, there are some certain aspects of your life that you need to do what? Audit. Somebody said to me, when we put our children, we put one of our son in certain school, but when we discover that the money is too much and is getting at us, we withdrew him and we put him in another school and have to use lesson to support it. Even the money they are getting, the cut-off they are getting from where they withdraw the boy, even the lesson itself is still small, but they are still getting enough change. And we have people that what they believe their assessment of good school is by the money they pay, which is a very big error. Do you know the school that my son attends? Do you know how much they pay? That is a big error. So create a joint budget and financial plan. Set money goals together and talk openly about your spending. If special for those of you discover that finance is one of the things that is killing your marriage, every time you are arguing or about your finance, I want you to be sure. I want you to create a budget and financial plan and check on them. Learn about managing money. Get financial advice if need be and work together towards your financial stability. A woman said when we got married, the way my husband was so open and we were enjoying ourselves, I saw the need to have a joint account with my husband. But a few years along the line, there was a serious problem. And suddenly, he said, every day my husband goes to work and make sure I prepare food in a flask and which he takes to work. But suddenly I discovered that almost every month, 250,000 is going out from the joint account. If I ask him, what does he do with it? There will be no explanation. Before I know it, he said that was how the husband wrecked her. Sit down. If you're spending, if your expenses is so much, sit down. Create a budget. Say the things you need to adjust. I watched a, what would I call it? I watched a movie, a very funny one. The man was the one working for some years, and every week, when the man was to leave us, the woman will give a long list. And if the man tried to ask questions, say, honey, don't ask questions, just transfer the money into my account. I don't know what happened, whether the man lost his job or somehow, but now the woman is the one that is working, whether it's the agreement, you go and work, now let me stay in the house. And the man was doing the same. Immediately the wife wants to go out, the husband will say, honey, please, this is the list. The woman will look at the list and shout, but we still have in the house, this in the house. We bought this last week. He say, honey, don't complain. Just transfer the money. And don't forget, I need to do my nail. I need to do my hair. I need to do... What is the man doing? The man is now, is he a payback? It's not paying back. I want you to see how it feels. So it is important for us to manage our finances because we are living a time that the cost of living is so high and money creates a lot of problems. I've had people say, no money, no romance. I don't totally agree to that. But does money make marriage, help marriage? Yes. But does money determine a successful marriage? No. If that be the case, the likes of Bill Gates, the life of the richest people on earth and the celebrity will know that money is not their problem, will not be divorcing or having divorce issue or having marital issue. So, but as long as money is important, you have to also make sure that you create a plan to spend it. Another thing that will help your marriage to revive is balance your work and family life. Balance your work and family life. Someone said to me that once I enter my house, any work that could not be concluded in the office, any work that could not be concluded before I enter my house, that I immediately step into my parlor, he said that work is done for that day. He said once I step into my house, it is now time for me and my family. But that is not the problem with so many people. You finish working in the office, you work late, you come back in the house, you are with your laptop. Honey, don't you see? I have to write a letter, I have to respond to a letter, I have to do this, I have to do that. If you don't balance, and let me also say this, if you find yourself even in a situation whereby that the kind of job you do will also require your attention when you are not in the job environment, you must make sure you create a boundary. Give your wife, give your husband his or her own time. Give her her own time. And that's why we hear excuses. I am so tired. I am so tired. I am so tired. Somebody said, when you are married, maybe some of the day I will have time to share for us to understand the difference between living together with a man and living as a husband and wife. There's a difference between being a married woman, a married man, and a married woman. As a female, you are a woman. Am I correct? Young lady, single, you are a woman. There's some certain responsibility that nature, that society places on you. But the day you say you decide to marry, do you know, also know, there are other responsibilities that you are bringing on yourself as a result of that marriage you are going into. You don't enter into marriage and decide to punish the marriage by using some certain responsibility to override other. No. No. Balance your work. Keep work and family life separate. Make time for each other and support each other's work-life balance. Make time. There are especially those of the Western world who find themselves, most time Igbo say where you know they, but they hungry you. But people where they and I don't know what they are facing. See, most time the Western world, we use them as a yardstick. They have a structured government. They have a structured system. They also have a structured life. Do you know that most couples in this Western world, the only time they have for themselves is that hour they carve out in their week? If it's Saturday, honey, Saturday, between this time and this time, nothing. I take you out for a coffee shop. From that coffee, we chat, we go for pizza. From pizza, we come back. Why? Because you may discover that a man is doing two jobs in order to maintain that same woman and maintain that family. And there is no time. So, but within that, what do they call it? In spite of that tight schedule, because they want to survive, they also want to take care of his family, also want to take care of the wife, the husband. Even that, they have to sit down and agree to bring out time for each other. Everything about life is not work. Is somebody hearing me? Everything about life is not work. Make family schedule that include time for each other and personal interests. Consider flexible work option if possible. You see, oftentimes you see people said when you are choosing a career as a family man, as a family woman, you are choosing some certain job, all your interest is money, is wrong. Because I've seen people who make the money but lost their family. I've seen people who make the money and destroy the children. So what will it profit you? Jesus said, what will it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Is it not true? What will it profit you that you are being paid million? At the end of the days of your life, you have no family because you choose money over comfort and time for your family. Money is good, but money is not everything. If it's possible, before choosing job, before choosing career, consider, tomorrow I want to marry, I want to be a wife, I want to have a good marriage, I want to have a good family, I want to do this, I want to do that. For that reason, there are some certain jobs I should not take. Somebody said, the husband vowed never to marry. Say why they were growing up, okay, the brother vowed never to marry a nurse. He said, vowed never to marry. They asked, what's the reason? He said, imagine when I will be coming home to meet my wife, be telling me he's on night duty. He said, I can't take that. And eventually, he never married a nurse. He married someone. Why somebody said, in fact, I must marry a nurse. I must marry a nurse. How can my children be ill or something happen? I'll begin to go and pour money in the hospital. At least the nurse will help me to take care of my children. You see, different stroke for different frogs. So balance your work and your family life. Make time for your family. Again, number 4, for a dying marriage, to revive your marriage, to keep your marriage alive, foster personal growth and fulfillment. Pursue personal growth and personal fulfillment. You see, the fact that you are married does not mean you don't have plan for your life. Is someone hearing me? There are visions that are, how will I call it? There are visions that once you marry together with your husband's vision. But there are visions that no matter how you marry, it's not together. There are most times I go out of Lagos, I go out of, maybe happen to be in African country, to go and do teachings on marriage and family. A normal thing that is possible is for me to have gone with my wife. But most times I don't do that. Why? My wife is a teacher. Will the school release my wife for me for 1 week and still come back and expect to pay her? Or if not even paying her, and leave the pupils under her control, for who? So for now, I know there is no way, it is not possible for me and my wife to be at the same place all the time for the calling. Though it's a family calling, it's good to do it side by side, but for now. So, and now she's pursuing her career as a teacher. I'm also pursuing my career as a counselor. What do I need to do to her? Support her. What does she need to do to me to support me? That career she's pursuing, a long run, may be what will be helpful to the growth of the family vision. But now she must pursue. And often I tell couples, there is a problem that I often see among couples, and it's still happening. You married an illiterate, or you marry a school dropout as a man, and you are the type of man that cherishes women who are graduates, women who are read. Now, what stops you? I am married. Thank God today we have satellite campuses. Today we have online courses. What stops you to grow? What stops you to develop yourself? But rather some feel, I am married. And each time the man goes out, he meets with his colleagues, and most of them are all graduates. He loved the way they speak. He loved the way they dress. And the wife could not get to that level because the wife is far below and the wife is not ready to grow herself. Before you know it, each time there is a meeting or a cocktail party in the office where they are expected that everyone will come with the wife and the husband, one of them will drop the other person. Why? He's no more proud. He's no more confidence enough to showcase the wife to his colleague. And before you know it, some certain temptation will set in. What do you ought to do? You marry a man who is a school dropout, and you are the type, you know, he dropped out as a result of certain issue that is beyond his control. There is nothing wrong for you encouraging him. Encouraging him. I was telling somebody, he said, God will help you. I said, I'm preparing for exam. I will sit in a lecture room. I think the smallest classmate, their classmate is 19 or so. Imagine me now sitting, I will sit. The same lecturer, one lecturer is teaching us. One is 19. And they say, what did you, this man, what did you go back to do in the school? Somebody said, you try, what are you going, what do you need it? I need it. If I don't need it, I won't go back. I need it. At least my children now, there are some certain things now, they are beginning to laugh at me. Each time I say they give us assignment. If I say exam now, you are reading. At times I will be reading, I say I have a test. My wife will first of all laugh before he give me support. I did a test and I scored very low. I'm not going to tell you the mark, so don't expect me to tell you. And somebody said, if now your pikin come back home now and say this is what I score, he will say, I say it's not the same thing. There is nothing I ask my pikin to do now than to go to school. Why I'm looking for money to pay. I will be in the exam hall and they're asking me questions. And maybe a text just come, or maybe when I left out, the landlord just called. I remember that it's tomorrow. We agree that you're going to pay. Or maybe there's a note that was dropped, or a text came. Only when you are coming back, remember there is nothing in the house. Try to buy something. And there is nothing in the account and there's nothing in the pocket. And they are asking me, define philosophy. Define this. Let's be sincere. What do you think that I'll be defining in my head? How will I get money to make sure I buy what they ask me to buy for the home to contain me? But because I saw the need and the importance of developing myself, not just for myself, not just to match the kind of the level of my partner, but also to meet the expectations that the society has placed on me. But most times, when couples grow, if couples grow side by side, and it's not only school, it's not only in time of tertiary institutions, not only school. Life itself is a school. There are people that are not ready to expose themselves to some certain learnings. There are people that are doing some certain things they are doing today, nobody taught them, but they just by asking questions. You see a woman dressed and the husband will tell you, honey, I don't think that this thing goes like this. It doesn't go. Say, leave them. Now, what you want, we leave them. Now, your body aware them. Leave them. And the man you are telling leave him works in an organization where are different classes, different shapes, ladies that will come with different, who knows to match the shoe, match the skirt, match if beret is allowed there, to match the beret. You married as a village person, you always know that your mommy will wake up in the morning tying wrap on the chest. Till in the evening, except he's going to farm, he's still tying wrap on the chest. And you are in Lagos, you are in the city, you are exposed. And you wake up every morning, you are tying wrapper. Your husband went to work and come back in the evening, you are still tying wrapper on your chest. May God help you. And tomorrow you hear it is the devil. Where do you see the devil? Where do you see the devil? Do activities together that promote growth. Balance your personal goals with shared goals. Number 5. I give you 2 more, I round up. For you to be able to revive your marriage, adapt to changing social norms. Stay updated with changing social norms and discuss how they impact your relationship. Be flexible with roles and expectations. Is there anybody that can tell me that social media is not having effect on homes? Is it the time now for somebody to say, and I don't believe in that social media thing? I'm asking those of you that are here. I don't have time. I don't need anything to do with technology. It's not the time. There are challenges, there are pressures, there are expectations that comes with the changing social norms. You must be abreast with it. You must discuss how it also affects you, affects your relationship, affects your marriage. And you must also be open to adjusting your views and responsibilities. You know, as a result of the things we are hearing from social medias and the changing norms, the changing times that we are seeing today in the society we belong, there are so many things, there are so many beliefs, there are so many mindsets that if you are not adjusting to, you know, gone are the days that you said, I got annoyed, I slapped my wife. If your wife allow 1 or 2 persons to hear that, in fact, it's not your wife that will deal with you. There's NGO that will take it up. Even while beating your children now, you must be careful. All these changing norms that we face, you must know how to adjust yourself, your views, and your responsibility. Manage expectations. Manage expectations. Many marriages are dying because of unrealistic expectations. Don't be like the children. Wives, don't be like the children. Husbands, don't be like the children. A child will tell you, my mother will buy me an aeroplane. My mother will buy me Mercedes-Benz. Every other thing you are saying is not interested. He believes that the mother will buy him a aeroplane. Why the mother has not even been able to pay his school fees or feed him very well. But that is unrealistic expectations. Husbands, even now, your wife is a working class person. You are a working class person. You must understand there are certain expectations that she may not be able to meet. And if he has been meeting it before, when your wife is always there for you, at your beck and call, even before you cough, she's there. When she's not working, looking for a job, and now both of you have agreed, as a result of the inflation and cost of things, I think you have to get a job. And she gets a job. And she goes out in the morning the way you go out, and she comes back late. And before then, each time before you are home 7, 6, your meal is ready. Your food is ready. And that 7, that 6, your wife is not even back from work. And you still expect her, immediately she's entering, past 7, 8, you are shouting, you are nagging. You know, I don't like, doctor said I shouldn't be eating late. My friend, go and tell doctor that you have adjusted your wife position. So what will you do? Or if you don't know, begin to let your stomach know you need to adjust also. Expecting your wife to do what you know that she does not have the capacity to do. Expecting your husband to do what you know he does not have the capacity and capability to do. When it comes to financial expectation, you know what your husband is earning, you know that he cannot afford this, and you keep pushing him to do it. Those are unrealistic expectations. So if you don't want that marriage to die, you must manage your expectations. Set realistic expectations for your relationship, and each other focus on what each person contributes. Regularly discuss and adjust your expectation. Show appreciation for each other's effort. I was watching a clips, and the woman was teaching how to couple. He was teaching couples how to respond to each other's in the midst of mistakes. Many of you may have watched it. He said, for example, for instance, you send a message or a chat or a call to your husband. When you are coming, please branch at the supermarket and get a bottle of water. There is no water in the house. And suddenly, as a result of the pressure from the work, from the society, from the road, the man forgot. He said, immediately the man got home. The first thing, he said, honey, you are welcome. What of the water? Oh, I forgot. That's how you always forget. That's how. He said, you nag and you nag and you nag the man. Then he now acted the second part. He now played it. Honey, what about the water? And they say, oh, please, I forget. Oh, and the woman say, oh, that means you must have had a very busy day. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. How was your day? That means your day was so stressful that made you to forget. After saying this, he said, just that there is no water in the house again. So what do you think we should do? The same man said, okay, don't worry. I will quickly run out and get it from a nearby supermarket. The same mistake, the same issue that broke the other marriage, the same ignited or brought the two together. Why? As a way that was managed. How do you manage your expectation? Be sure. Let me quickly add this to you as a roundup. Limit negative external influences. Limit negative external influences. Be careful about what external influences you let affect your marriage. Seek positive advice. Avoid negative media and opinions. Get advice from trusted people or professionals. There are things that many homes are dying today because we believe most of the lies that we see on social media. Most of the lies that we see on social media, they are all lies. Who are you advising? You mean your husband did this to you? I can't take it from my husband. Have you visited their house and know what is taken from the husband? My wife dare not try this. I will kill her. Have you visited their home to know what is going on? It's advising you, don't take shit from your wife. Don't take shit from your husband. Don't take shit from your marriage. If it's me, and you don't know that many of them, even in their own home, they are taking shock away, not even shit. Eh? And people are advising you. The advice they are giving you, is it what will bring solution and help you to enjoy peace in your home, or the one that will create more harm? And who are you going to? A friend of mine was telling me that one of the things that constantly brings disagreement and misunderstanding between him and the wife, he was asking the wife, why is it that all your friends are all divorcee? What advice would they be giving to you? All your friends are divorcee. They will tell you that's how I know. When my husband was alive, even when it's not true, he tried it, I dealt with him. He wants you to deal with your husband so that you come and join in the league. For some of you are not. There's so many frustrated human beings on the social media that tells you different lies and you believe. Limit negative external influences. Above all, how do you and will you resuscitate, revive, and restore the peace, the joy, the harmony, the love you once shared in your marriage without God? For with God, all things are possible. The scripture says the heart of man, the heart of woman is deceitful and desperately wicked. Who can know it all? Let me say this to you. If you see a man that said, I cannot sleep with another woman because I love my wife, it's a lie. If you see a woman that said, nothing on this earth will make me to sleep with another man that is not my husband, it's a lie. If you see someone that says, like Joseph, I cannot do this because it is a sin against my God, believe that person. What makes difference in life, what makes difference, even when we want to take action, is the spirit that is operational in our life. In any heart, any life, where the Spirit of God, where the Holy Spirit is in control, I am telling you, there are going to be limited harms. There was a time I was arguing, many of you would have had me share it. I was having a verbal argument with my wife. At one point, the Spirit of God told me, you are foolish. You have the solution to end this quarrel. I listened. He said, say sorry to your wife. And being that is the Spirit of God, and being that by His grace, I am under the control of that Spirit. I quickly turned to my wife and said, I am sorry for whatever I've said. And that was what ended. And she also began to apologize. I don't mean to say what I said, but because you say this. Are you getting it? You see, most time we tend to, when we throw tantrum or when we tend to blame each other, even most time when the way we judge women as men is wrong. And most time the way we judge men as women is wrong. There's action that always brings a reaction. And the one that apologizes is not the weaker one. The one that apologizes is the strongest one. But it takes the Spirit of God for you not to ruin your marriage. When you are married, they told you, say the men are not to be trusted. But when the God is in charge, He will tell you that men that fears God are to be trusted. It takes the Spirit of God to you to know that you are no more one. You are two. Who are you laboring for? Who are you building with? But where the Spirit of God is not, you are building on a sinking sand. For you that is listening to me this evening, I pray that you open your heart for Jesus to come into your life. If God is not in your marriage, that ship will capsize. But when God is in your marriage, in your relationship, be it marriage, I stand to tell you, when the storms of life, when the volcanoes, when the unseen circumstances, when the natural disasters comes, God will be there to help you and to weather the storms. So it is important you factor God Allow God, give him way into your life and your marriage. And I pray that the Lord will bless you. And I also encourage you that are listening, please, as you are watching this broadcast, share it to those that you know that needs it, platform that you know that will be a blessing. Our interest is to see that marriage are revived, relationships are rescued from toxic and from destructions. And also like our YouTube page, Marriage Discovery International. Just search it out. There's so many messages there that will bless your life. Thank you for listening. God bless you. Shall we pray? Faithful and eternal Father, we bless